Welcome everyone to episode 30 of the draft. I can't believe we've done 30 episodes. This will be our 30th time doing this. That's nuts. The first episode was our season long pick, but now so this will be our 29th draft. That's pretty awesome. And who better to have on filling in for Phil but Chris from Flag Hunting. I believe you're the only one to come in and hit a home run off the bench. Maybe Greg did one time. I know not for me. No offense, Greg, but I know you haven't done that for me. And so we'll see if Chris can take us down again. Tino, how you doing, man? Good to see you as well. So with Tino, with Chris, we're going to talk this week about Bristol. It's the Bass Pro Shops night race. It's a cutoff race in the round of 16. So we'll go to 12 drivers in the playoffs after this. Tino, I'll kick it to you real quick. How you doing, man? How you feeling tonight?
Doing well, feeling great. And I got to give a shout out to Greg because Greg was my fill in. I believe it was week 3 or 4. And he won. And so that was piling onto the Tino total wins there this season. But yeah, I'm excited for Bristol. I know last year so Ryan, I understand your Debbie Downerness as we coined you last year on the other show we were doing. And I feel like it's coming back a little bit, but I can understand last year you feeling that way. So this year, I'm excited for what everyone's talking about with the tire. We may have a chance. If not, then we can win some money regardless. Had a strong week at, where were we last week? WWT, of course, because I changed it from Worldwide Tech to We Win Together. Had a little Denny Hamlin action. So didn't win the draft, but that's okay. I'll let you guys get one every once in a while.
You're on fire, dude. And I tweeted out a little while ago that I'm not going to say anything negative about NASCAR through the rest of this season. And technically, I don't think I have. I think I might have like reposted things other people have said, but I haven't said it myself. I've been doing good. I
I'm
was
proud of
at the
you.
race last year. I mean, the race last year, it was dreadful. It was fun, with the boys, but just it is what it is. I actually don't mind it. I mean, it's boring as hell. It sucks when you pump it up to your friends, tell them how exciting it's going to be, and then Larson goes out there and leads 450 laps. But it is what it is. I don't mind that for what we do. And that night, actually, we made some money, so it's all good. Chris from Flag Hunting, how you been, man? How you doing? Are you excited to be back here tonight?
Oh, I'm pumped. I love this show. I've told you guys so many times. I may not always be here live, but I always listen to the podcast version of it. And yeah, like you said, this is my third time filling in for Phil, but I've won one of the two, so I'm batting 500 right now. So we're gonna try to stay above water and get logging up another win for him, and it'll be two in a row for him if I pull it off. Right? Did he win last week? I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So Phil's not on the show, but we will bring that up. We'll pop it up here. Phil gets another win. This was a tight race last week. Phil pulls it out, gets to 9.5 wins on the season. It's getting down to crunch time. It's going to be almost impossible for me to catch Tino, but Phil can do it here. And I think after this round, next week, we'll pull up our season long stats as well so we can see how our season long draft is going. I know that was a tight race too, Tino, between you and I. So I'm curious to see how that's gone and how we're looking, heading into a round that does have the Roval because you got SVG in that season long one. So he's getting you some points.
Oh yeah. That's why I did what I did. And for the majority of the season, from the season long standpoint, it was not really looking good for me because there wasn't any road courses, at least post Coda area, that was impactful. Like we just had normal ovals, and SVG was not doing well. And I was like, man, I forgot that I had him when he won 4 road course races, and then we checked back in. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's a beauty of the draft, right? There's different levels, different layers to it. We're drafting season long, we're drafting weekly, and it's all a matter of each and every week we could have a new winner.
Yeah, we can do a quick, I guess, 2-minute recap of Gateway. Gateway was okay for me. Ended up, I think it was up between 1 and 2 units, so nothing big, but a win's a win. I'll take it. I wasn't really heavily invested in that one. Tino, you have been on fire. You've just been giving out winning picks. What is it? 3 weeks in a row now? 4 weeks in a row now? It's pretty insane. The bees stung you in Saratoga, and the venom has just brought this killer side to you. So yeah, man. Good job. How'd you enjoy the race? Yeah. I know you did well. So how'd you like it?
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Couldn't do it without you guys. This show helps me perform, to stick with the picks I'm thinking of, learn stuff from you guys. I'm obviously on Loop Edge and everything that Win the Race is saying as well to help me along the way. But yeah, in terms of the race itself, I would say there was a lot of talk about a tire, which didn't come into play. I felt like that left side, I think that was new for last weekend. Denny Hamlin, I think when you give him a racetrack where he's going to have 2 consecutive second place finishes and already the track record of being strong somewhere, and then he starts on the pole and his pit crew exceeds expectations, unlike they did last weekend before that, that's where, to me, I kind of expected him to dominate. But there were some other players out there. Bubba Wallace had a strong run as well. It was interesting to see how the Hendrick cars sort of tried to rebound after a poor performance at Darlington. And overall, I would say Ryan Blaney was up there too. He was another one of my plays. Penske, obviously, we talked about them big on last week's show. So I'm interested now because I'm very excited to see where things go from a standpoint of the playoff standings. I feel like that's been a big thing that I've been looking at. Yeah, we saw a Briscoe win and a Denny win, but really, who else can step up, heading into Bristol if anyone could beat Kyle Larson?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting thing. I'm sure we'll be bringing that up as we do our picks tonight. Some of the guys in the cut lines might be looking to. We saw, a pit crew swap with Bowman, things like that. Teams are trying now. They know it's go time, got to get in. Chris, how'd you do at Gateway? Did you enjoy the race? Did you have any bets come out on top?
I got crushed. I was
That
on
happens.
Blaney and Larson pretty heavily. So that was
I had
that was
Larson number one, in my true performance scores for the race. So I think
yeah.
if it's no consolation prize to your bank account, but I think you did have the right pick there.
Yeah, right. There's points in that race, right, where I think I had the right picks. It just didn't play out right. And I think, like Tino said, the race as a whole probably could have been better, but I was pleasantly surprised that we at least had different strategies at the end. That was at least made it somewhat interesting.
Yeah.
If only we could just have a green flag, like let green flag pit cycles roll through. We could have seen, maybe what could be made of Larson and Blaney and some of those other guys at the end, and rather than having some of those other guys roll back to the front. But I mean, I was pleasantly, I guess, surprised about the race because I went in thinking it was going to be a snooze fest. So
Yeah. It was. I thought it was okay. Like at the Gluck poll, I think it was like 60% yes or something like
yeah,
that. Like I thought that was fair. It was all right. But yeah, that's so. I mean, betting on these races that can happen sometimes. You can get it perfectly right, and it just doesn't fall our way. I mean, Lord knows I've had that happen to me plenty of times, including many times this season. So it is what it is. We just keep our heads down, like we're gonna do for Bristol here, and fire away again, and just trust the numbers. So, all right. With that being said, we can leave right into Bristol here. Phil normally does the race preview, but we'll jump to Chris. He's going to take over for us and let us know what to expect at Bristol this weekend. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we are obviously heading to Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. Shout out, I went to App State, which is only about 45 minutes from Bristol. So
Home game.
Oh yeah, I love this track. Actually, was telling Ryan I went for the first time to Bristol, the spring Bristol race where we had the tire debacle. So talk about the first time being there, that was insane. But yeah, for anyone who may be new to NASCAR or tune in for the first time, this is a half-mile concrete short track, also known as the Last Great Coliseum, Thunder Valley, the world's fastest half mile, whatever you want to call it. This is a staple in the NASCAR community. And on top of that, it's a night race. I always get up for night races, and they just get me jacked. From a data standpoint, there really isn't a true comp. It's pretty on its standalone up for its by itself. You could maybe look at Dover, but I don't know. To me, it's Bristol and Bristol alone. When you're looking at winners, last 5 winners here, pretty funny. Larson, Denny, Busher. So all 3 teams, but also repeat winners for the last 4 years. We are racing Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, the big conversation here, and we'll probably lead this into a convo here, but the weather and the tires. So we're looking at a high of 79 and a low of 59. However, don't let that low deceive you. It is not going to get into the 60s until like late in the night. It's going to be in 70s all day long. So I don't think we're going to see what we saw 2 years ago. I can tell you that when I went to that race, it was chilly that day, very chilly. One thing to know about, the mountains or Tennessee or whatever, the wind chill will always get you. And that day there was a chill in the air. I don't think that's going to be the case this Saturday. But with that being said, tires are the conversation. If anybody listened to Actions Detrimental with Denny Hamlin this week, he talked about how apparently word of mouth is Goodyear tested these new right side tires on their some sort of sandpaper machine. I don't know, something that's supposed to test these tires, and apparently broke the machine. So I don't know. Take that for what you want. They're hopeful that's going to be a tire that wears. I don't know if I'm buying it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I read something that said they think, or their goal is that the right side tire can't last more than 70 laps.
Yep.
Or 70 is the max, and then you're going to need to pit. So hopefully that's the case. I think, if anything, it makes it a little more interesting. If they do wear a little bit, what if you get a caution 30 laps into a run? Do some people come and take just right sides only? Some people take all four. I think it could mix up the field a little bit, make it a little fun. So then you could see the fast guys maybe coming through the field, slicing and dicing a little bit, and then it could get interesting when the leaders catch traffic. There's a lot that can happen. I don't think it can be as boring as it's been the last 2 times. I just don't see how. I think they know that, and I think that this plan is in place because they know how boring it was for everyone to watch that. So we'll see. Tino, what do you think?
I think, and shout out to our guy Team 54 in the chat, Zach as well. Love the rebrand going, like the new color scheme and everything for the logo. So as he mentioned, and as Chris alluded to, then he said it broke the machine in a good way or a bad way, and that to me is really interesting because why doesn't NASCAR or Goodyear tell us these things? Why are we hearing this from Denny Hamlin's friend of a friend? And genuinely, I don't know if this is true. I believe, I don't think he's lying, and I take a lot of what he says on his show for real. But at the same time, why can't Goodyear just tell us, hey, this is the tire that we're rolling out. We're expecting this much fall off. I know the term has been around 70 laps is when they want it to fall off, but why can't we have a little more inside knowledge as fans? Obviously, as bettors and drafters here tonight, that's sort of what I want to know too. But I feel like why not give us a little inside scoop? So it doesn't make sense to me from that standpoint.
I think maybe they just don't know.
Yeah, true.
They just have no freaking clue what's going to happen, so that they just won't say anything. I mean, they don't want to be held liable for it. It's
yeah, that's a good point.
It's the whole
push the blame.
And I don't know if I buy it, but it's that whole theory too. You keep hearing people say why would Goodyear want to promote that they have a tire that wears out because they don't want the public to think that they have a bad tire or whatever. But I don't know. I just don't buy that. It's a racing tire. It's not a tire for the public.
Yeah.
So who cares?
We're asking for it to fall apart. Please let it fall apart. Give the people what they want.
Yeah, I will say this for my prediction here tonight of what's going to happen with the tire. Definitely better than the last 2 Bristol races. I don't think we meet the expectations or results of the spring Bristol amazing fall off from, when was that, 2024? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say I think we can sort of get somewhere in the middle, and if we do, I think that makes for a great night race because the night race itself has been, I feel like, the more troublesome to see passing out of the 2 because of the grip that builds up over the racetrack and the temperatures and the fall season it is under the lights. All of those things at night contribute to a lot of just single file racing. So I think with all those factors, at least the night race will be better than it normally is. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. And I like the higher temperatures. Hopefully it gets slick out there. So here's the hope. All right, let's not beat that to death. We'll jump right into the draft. If you're new to the draft, we're going to draft 1 driver from every team you see on the left there. The big 3 pick will be another pick from Hendricks, Joe Gibbs, or Penske. We'll do a best of the rest pick. That's a pick from any team you don't see on the left here. And then a wild card pick can be from any team and a driver that you haven't selected yet. So, and we'll go in an order where, Tino, you're going to get the leverage tonight in the wild card pick. Yeah, so we'll start with you for best of rest.
Closer.
Yeah, we'll start with you best of rest, and then we'll go left to right, and you get that final say in the wild card round. Don't let us forget when we get there. I'll do my best. So
I'll remember.
Let's start here with 2311. As always, we use NASCAR scoring, just the points for the race. Whoever wins gets to pick a charity and win the race. Will donate to it the following week. So we've done 28 different charities this year. pretty cool. I'll try to compile a list. Hopefully, listeners, you guys, if you see one that speaks to you or anything, just let me know. We can maybe donate again. We'll match a donation of yours. Just do something cool. All right, 2311. We're going to start there. Let me pull up the draft board real quick. There we are. And Chris, it's been a while. You're back. Let's let you lead this off here. Who do you have here for Phil's pick for 2311?
Yeah, sure. I'll lead it off. We're gonna go Bubba Wallace here, and I feel like this is probably gonna be a popular pick. He's just a guy that just, we've probably said it a million times, or you guys have probably said it a million times in the show this year, but he just seems like a different guy this year. It seems like we can't really use a lot of prior data on him. He just seems like he's got a brand new mentality to him. And on top of that, Tyler Reddick just hasn't really performed well at this track. Just looking at the past 4 years or 4 races of this track, Bubba has a 6-point better average finishing position than him. He qualifies at about 6 spots better than him as well. I just trust Bubba more, frankly. And I'm a Tyler Reddick fan. So for me to say that is a lie. It's hard for me to admit that. But yeah, I think the 23 team just is on a roll this year, and I think they can be serious contenders if they keep this momentum going.
Yeah, I totally agree here. I'll just fill in here. I'm going to go Bubba Wallace as well and agree with everything you said there. In my true performance scores on Win the Race, I'll pull up just all Gen 7 Bristol here. You'll notice Bubba Wallace kind of in the middle there, maybe a little above the middle, and you'll notice Reddick toward the bottom. And I only pulled up, the top part of the chart here. But if you were to sort all of these, you'd notice that Bubba wins every single time. He has never lost in my true performance scores against Tyler Reddick at a Bristol Gen 7 race that wasn't on dirt. So go ahead and give me Bubba Wallace here. I also feel like Bubba, just great momentum here. Just great, not here at Bristol, just in general this season. I mean, dude's on fire right now. He's bringing a fast car every week. He's really hitting everything he needs to. Pit crew extremely fast. All his 4-tire stops, everything. This team's just firing on all cylinders. So I love Bubba here. His last 2 fall races finished 14th and 3rd. So, give me Bubba. I think he's on fire right now. Tino, who do you got?
Gonna be Bubba for me as well. One thing to note, finished 3rd here in this race last year. So that to me is really impressive. And I think with the momentum, like you guys have mentioned, you've said all the things I agree with and my points exactly. I think he continues to race for stage points, and him racing for stage points and having that mentality has led to him leading races and leading laps and being in contention for the win. So I've seen him do that throughout the early portion of the season. And then I feel like people may look and say, wow, Bubba is actually contended for the potential championship, or at least to continue having a strong run in the playoffs, because where he sits right now, pulling up the playoff standings for you guys, 4th in the playoff standings. That is very impressive to me because it comes from those points he was able to accumulate throughout the season. And that's a great spot. He's plus 50 the cut line. Maybe if he wants, do some extra strategy here, try to get out front at the end, and he could potentially win this race. I mean, we saw him in a prime position before his car broke at WWT last weekend. I'm not saying maybe he holds off Denny or Larson or Blaney, but another top 5 run for him, it looked like.
Yeah, he's to the point now where, like, if he's out front leading laps, we're not like, what the hell's going on here?
Mhm.
We're like, it's like, oh, Bubba's fast again. And you're like, okay, I guess he's out front. A little bit of strategy helps sometimes, but, he's always running up there. So give him a good pit stop, give him a good strategy, let Bubba eat. All right, we'll jump to a little harder team to predict here, Front Row Motorsports. This is one, we've said it all season long. I don't think we're really going to change tonight. Flip a coin and just let it land. I mean, I'll go first because I have no real super strong opinions here. But when Greg and I break everything down and we simulate the race 20,000 times, we have Noah Gragson coming out on top the majority of the time. We have him winning, 52.34% of the time over Zane and 52.16% of the time over Gilland. So again, extremely slim here. But I think Gragson's good here. Has multiple wins here in the Xfinity Series. This is a very tough track for people to figure out. I know that's a long time ago now, but still, it's not like he's had crazy poor runs here either in the Cup Series. So give me Noah Gragson. I just like him the most of this group of him, Zane Smith, and Gilliland. Tino, I'm going to jump back to you. Who do you got here?
Yes, sir. Well, Robert said the best in the chat. The race for P29 with front row. All right. So to me, I thought I was going to be different, but it is going to be the same as you, Ryan, with Noah Gragson. He was able to get a 12th place finish here in this race last year. I like that a lot. And then after that was a 23rd place finish. So to me, he has the ability to, I feel like his best could maybe be a top 15 this year, and then top 25, top 30 finish. It's kind of close, but that's what I'm expecting out of front row. That's what we mentioned a lot of times. He has been running stronger than where he's been at. I feel like since the playoffs started, he's kind of kicked something on. And I've picked him a couple times thinking he would be the destroyer of my draft, and he's actually came through a little bit. So I'm going to go with Gregson as well.
That's sweet. Chris, who do you got here?
I'm gonna admit I'm glad you guys went Gregson because I didn't want to have to. I'm gonna go Zane Smith, and it's like you said. There's not a lot you can pull from here. I do like Gregson's history. I don't think you guys are wrong there, but when it comes to just this year, I just feel like I trust Zane more, just from a consistency standpoint. He just seems to sometimes I just look up and like there he is sitting like 13th, 14th, whatever. And we've brought momentum up a few times. I do pull one of the stats I pull personally is just kind of like a momentum factor, like kind of how are they trending coming in like the last 6 races. And Zane is averaging like about 3 or 4 spots better in average finish than both his teammates. So that was kind of my tiebreaker. So I'm gonna stick with Zane.
That's awesome. Can't argue that. I mean, we went how many weeks here saying, well, it's another week where Gregson hasn't finished better than 23rd. It's like, I think we did that for 10 straight weeks. So, yeah. I mean, picking Zane, he's definitely been the most steady of the gang, it feels like. No matter what track type, he is that dude that's up there. So, all right, good pick and pivot there. Now, we're going to get into the big boys, the big 3. Now we're going to start talking about some guys we think can win this race. I'm going to go ahead and let you lead this one off, Tino. So go ahead with your Hendricks pick for Bristol.
All right. To me, I do have a Hendrick Motorsports driver I'm keeping in mind. Maybe I'll talk about him later, but the first one I have to start with is Kyle Larson. I'd be silly not to after what he was able to do, not only in the spring this year, but in the fall last year. And honestly, his finishes before that, I'll just read off the last 5 Bristol finishes for you guys. Kyle Larson with a 5th, 2nd, 5th, first and first with a 2.8 average finish at this track. I was going to write down all the laps he led to, but then my hand would have gotten tired because it's almost all of them here. That's how much they are able to dominate if there's fall off. See, this is the thing. And Brian mentioned it earlier on. I'm going to bring his comment back up. He said they want the drama only for it to be another Larson ass whooping. And that's the case because even if there is tire fall off, Kyle Larson to me is still kind of the guy I'd want to rock with if it's as drastic as the spring. Why? That track to me in Bristol at night, I feel like if you're having less grip, he's just able to rip around there like a dirt track. And that's exactly what he does best. So loose car, fast car, Kyle Larson, less grip, Kyle Larson, obviously Denny Hamlin, couple other guys out there that I do like in terms of, managing their stuff over a long course of a run, which we may see here, but everything points to Kyle Larson in this one dominating once again.
Yeah, I saw earlier too, and excuse me here, because I'm going to try to just find where I put it in Discord, but it was Larson talking about how happy he was with the speed of his car recently. Yeah, Kyle Larson in a media session. This is from Jeff Gluck. Kyle Larson in a media session this morning tells reporters of his speed. Quote, "I'm as optimistic as I've been in a very long time." That to me is like, let's go. Like I think he knows, the speed wasn't there for like a month or two, and then like he seemed to have found it last week. Like last week he was the fastest car. No one can really argue that. Everyone saw him just race right up to the front. I mean, he's a beast. And he was leading, he was pulling away like SVG does on a road course at Gateway before, certain things happen. So I don't know. Chris, are you going to be any different here? There's no way I can be different than Kyle Larson here. For everything Tino said, what do you think?
Yeah, you go ahead and type it in.
Yeah.
And you brought up the exact. I was going to share that you actually shared that quote in Discord earlier, because I think that's really telling, because we've been talking about all summer how, like, man, is Larson really in a drought from Indy? Because it seems like his mindset has just been different. But that kind of confirms it, right? Like, he's now all of a sudden now saying, now I'm confident in the speed.
Mm-hmm.
And then to Tino's point, right, coming to a track that he's flourished at, 2.8 average finish over the last 5 races is insane. And then to Tino, I'm going to finish your stat for you since you didn't want to do the math. 946 is actually the amount of laps led. And if you take the next 6 highest average finishers, they only total 856 laps led. So Larson still tops the next 5 guys or 6 guys. So it's insane how much he just dominates here. I think it's a good spot for him. There is, Hendrick is an interesting camp this week. I do think there's a few guys that we might talk to when we get to Big 3 and Wild Card, but you kind of have to start with Larson.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. While we're talking about people who go back-to-back here, I'll just lead off Joe Gibbs and I'll go Denny Hamlin, because Larson won the last 2 races here in a row, but the person who went back-to-back before that, Denny Hamlin, he won those 2 races. So it's no mystery here. Denny also won. Say the tires do play a factor. One of those races was the race Chris was at, where the tires were just falling apart and Denny smoked everyone by the end of that race. So, Kyle Larson's got the 5 out of 5 top 5s here in Gen 7. Denny's got 4 top 5s in the 5 races. I don't know. There's not much else to say about him. When Larson's winning these races, Hamlin's finished 4th and 2nd. So he's still right there, even if Larson's going to be the dude, and we're trying to earn points here. So give me Denny Hamlin. Chris, I'm going to jump right back to you. Who do you got?
Yeah, I hate to be contrarian, or to not be contrarian here, but I'm also going to go Denny. For the numbers I run, he's number 1 in my model, actually over Larson, which I thought was kind of crazy. So yeah, for all the same reasons, I think Denny. And to go back to the comment that Brian just posted too about regardless of the tire situation, I think that applies to Denny too. Like, you just mentioned it. When the tires were falling off, Denny's good. When they're not falling off, he finds a way. It just comes down to his pit crew. If his pit crew is rolling the way they were the entire season and not like they were at Darlington, then he's going to be a contender. So, yeah.
One thing I'll mention about that, because say the tires do wear, people are coming down for 4 tire stops more often, or just stops in general more often. The person that I have number 1, and I use pit road time too, because I like to bring the driver's skill into it as well, and then I weed out any obvious noise in any of the times. But I have Kyle Larson number 1, so we have him on the board. I have Bubba Wallace number 2. We all have him on the board, and we'll get to who I have 3rd here coming up shortly. So go ahead, Tino. Who do you got for JGR?
Well, Zach, Team 54, our boy in the chat, saying I could take Denny later, telling me to do it, as Emperor Palpatine would say. And I know what he's talking. Ty Gibbs. I want to do it. I do. And I want to do it because Ty Gibbs has run strong here in the spring, the race where there's a lot of fall off. I actually had him 24-1 to win, and he was leading laps, fell off in the last 30. But I can't do it. I got to go with Denny Hamlin. I can't be that type of guy here. Not in the playoffs, not with the draft coming down to the wire. I got to hold my lead. But I want to give a shout out to Ty Gibbs because he has run strong here in the past. But let me run off these Denny stats in the last 5 races. A 9th, a 1st, a 1st, a 4th, and a 2nd to Kyle Larson in the spring, which means he has a 3.4 average finish in the last 5 races at this track. It's Denny and it's Kyle Larson. And we saw that last weekend as well a little bit. It wasn't too bad of a battle between the two of them, which I don't mind either. Like, I guess I say it wasn't too bad in terms of just them stealing the show from that standpoint. But when you have 2 big dogs going at it, especially at a night race like Bristol, I think this could be very exciting if they can, catch up to each other and pass. Because here's the thing too, if we see a Denny Kyle Larson battle and they get aggressive, we can see a Christopher Bell or Ryan Blaney, whoever else is in the mix for a win, be right up there, contending with those guys as well.
Yeah, we could see someone who's on the bubble win in advance.
Mm-hmm.
We could see some things happen here, which leads me into a team that's got a couple guys. Well, it's got one guy near the bubble here, Austin Cindric, and then I'll let you lead this one off because you probably got to tell your friend Sean McBride here to plug his ears with what I'm going to say about his guy. So, Tino, I'm going to let you lead this one off. We'll let him, listen to you, and then maybe listen to Chris, and then he can get out of here before I start talking about Penske. So go ahead and let me know what you got here for Penske.
Oh man. Well, yeah. Let me make sure he's in the chat. Sean McBride, if you're here, let us know. I'll shoot him a text as well. But to me, it's not going to be Joey Logano. I went with my Joey Logano last week. It was log season. And
Yeah.
Big Ross said it. Big Ross said it perfect. Logano is sneaky terrible here. I'm gonna tell you guys what. I printed out a page of the recent finishes at this track, wrote them all down, got them jotted down. Joey Logano is 34th in terms of average finish at this track. I'm sorry, Ryan, I'm stealing your thunder. I'm sorry, but
No, this is good. Let's get it out of the way.
Who's in front of him? Cody Ware. Who's behind him? Riley Herbst. Like, he's sandwiched between those two drivers. Brian as well saying Joey Slogano. I was gonna text McBride. I don't even think I want to now to make sure he's in here because
he was in here because you put up one of his comments. He was like, "What's up, baby girls?" or something like that. Yeah. So I know he's around.
But yeah, so my pick is going to be Ryan Blaney. I know Austin Cindric's around the cut line, and maybe this could be a good performance for him. In terms of Austin Cindric specifically here at this track, nothing really stands out to me, a 13th, a 17th in the last two. But Blaney's just been the best Penske driver at this track. That's just how it's been. And even in races that he hasn't been able to finish, I feel like he's still had a strong run with this next-gen car and just has gotten into trouble. But a 5th and the 6th in these last two, a 16th in the 2024 race where there was the maximum fall-offs that we saw. But I remember him leading laps in that one, and he did win the pole, if not start front row, if it was him or Josh Berry. I don't remember. But Blaney, night race, Bristol, potential fall-off. I feel like he can have a top 5 run here once again.
All right, perfect. Chris, who do you got? And I apologize right now if you had Joey Logano written down all day.
No, absolutely not. It's Ryan Blaney as well. And to finish off what Tino was saying, he was saying Ryan Blaney is the best Penske driver, and then he kept going. He could have just stopped there. Like, Ryan Blaney is just the best Penske driver, and the other two are just non-existent here. Not to mention, too, like, we're talking about playoffs, right? Night race, a lot of pressure. Joey Logano and Austin Cindric are not in the clear at all. Like, they've got to perform. They've got to, like, be careful. They can't, like, race stupid and, like, piss somebody off and worry about getting spun. So, like, they just got a lot more in their hands, where Ryan Blaney just, like, he can just go do his thing. And, like, he's been so now I know I'm saying that with some jest there because Ryan Blaney's gotten to his own shit, but at least we know Ryan Blaney's going to be fast. He's going to probably qualify pretty well. He's shown speed everywhere. It's more of a case against the other two.
Yeah. You said it best. He can just go out there and race his own race. And sometimes that's nice. Just take that, pressure off of you. I'll look here. I'll pull this back up. Yeah, Blaney's up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, top 5. And I weight this more recent, for the more recent performance here as well. Which to me, in my eyes, he's gotten better and better. Yeah, Logano and Cindric don't even make the list. Logano doesn't have a finish better than 22nd here in 5 Gen 7 races. So we'll see if he can crack that. He's like 21 points above the line or something like that. So I think he might be safe with who's around the bubble right now and under it. But man, could be close with a clunker and some bad luck. All right, let's lead into the big 3. I think there's a lot of different ways we could go here. Talking about JGR and Hendrick, I mean, those teams in particular, but we just poo-pooed 2 of the Penske guys, so we'll stick with JGR or Hendrick here, I think, for the most part. There's a lot of different ways we could go.
This is the biggest 3 I feel like we've had in terms of the drivers that could win this race. I'm very excited to see.
Yeah, because like you mentioned, Ty Gibbs, like sometimes he's not in play. He's firmly in play. Briscoe in play, Bell in play. And then I'd say, I don't want to give it away. Let's just go. So I'll go first, though. I'll tell you who my big 3 pick was. And again, this was very, very hard. This was hard because I didn't know what I wanted to do at the end here with the wild card. But I'm going to go Christopher Bell. And one reason for this is just, I don't know, just more of a gut thing, like angry Christopher Bell. He was pissed last week, calling out his team. Again, he can go out there, run his race. We've seen him be dominant here not long ago. A couple of years ago, he's out leading over 100 laps. I think back-to-back Bristol races, qualifying well, Now all these playoff guys are going out late in qualifying. They all got a shot at the pole. If Bell poles it, is anyone surprised? I don't think so. So, yeah, give me Christopher Bell here. He's super strong. I alluded to this earlier when I said, I take those pit stop times for 4 tire stops, and I take the driver into consideration as well using pit road time. I had Larson 1, I had Bubba 2, I have Christopher Bell 3. So if these tires really do matter, or we get a late caution and he's running up front and can pass a guy on pit road or something like that, that's where I like Christopher Bell. So give me that here. I also just think he's rock solid. We're trying to point our way in here, and all this guy does is earn points. So give me Christopher Bell here. Chris, I'm going to jump back to you. Who do you got?
Yeah, this one's tough because Christopher Bell was tempting. I think Ty Gibbs is tempting. I think a few Hendrick guys are tempting. But one guy that's really, I guess, kind of quietly stood out to me at the short tracks this year, starting with the Clash, was Chase Elliott. And that's who I'm going to go with, actually. Honestly, when you look at the numbers for Bristol history, him and Bell are pretty neck and neck. When you look at similar, I mean, I know it's not comparable, but if you just look at short tracks in general this year, Chase Elliott has a 6th at Dover. He's got a 4th at Martinsville. He's got a 10th at Phoenix. So, he's been right around the mix, whereas Bell, outside of the Phoenix win and Martinsville, really hasn't been. I mean, he's
known as the concrete guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, something I'm going to kind of steal a phrase that you just used, like a gut feel. I just have a gut feel with Chase, and I've kind of had that feeling all year on these like Martinsville, Bristol type tracks on him. So I'm going to stick with that here.
That's an awesome pick. I mean, you can't go wrong. Any Hendrick or JGR pick here, you can't go wrong. We just needed to play out well in our favor. Tino, who do you got here? Big 3.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one for me. I feel like because I don't want to – we have very similar boards right now, Ryan and I. And I do want to be different, but I have to pick Christopher Bell because of the same reasons Ryan said. After I saw that angry Christopher Bell, I texted in our draft group chat and I said, I am betting on him to win the race. It's just that type of tenacity after they finished 7th at WWT last weekend, which is a fine performance. Like, that's a type of car that I feel like he finished the type of speed that they had, but he feels like they could get more out of that. And if you feel that way and the crew chief or the strategy is not aligning with the speed that he feels like he can get out of that race car, and you put him at a track like Bristol where he's dominated before. I was there in person 2023 night race, seeing him just rip around and win stage 1, win stage 2. Didn't end up winning the race. Denny Hamlin took that one. But to me, he was one of the best cars alongside Larson, alongside Hamlin. And if there's fall off, he's another type of guy. We mentioned the dirt trackness that goes well in terms of Kyle Larson's speed when it comes to Bristol itself. I think that could play a factor here. But overall, I think this is where Bell starts to kick it back into gear. I can see him winning this race and then winning again at New Hampshire, doing a back-to-back like he did earlier this season.
Awesome. Yeah. Big Bell guy this week too. Will be cool if he's up there battling with the Hamlins, the Larsons, and everybody at the top. That'll be a lot of fun. All right. Tino, I'm going to stick with you. Let's head right into a Ford camp. We'll get out of this big 3 here, and let's go with RFK. Who do you got here?
Perfect. So I'm hoping this one separates me a little bit from you guys. I'm going to go with Ryan Preece. It's been a little bit, I feel like, since Preece has sort of done what he's been doing this season in terms of surprising us with strong finishes, leading laps, or at least just being up front to do so. I think this is a track where we may see a non-playoff driver win, and it could come from the RFK Cup camp. It came from Chris Buescher. Obviously, he loves to do that when he's not in the playoff, win playoff races. I can see Preece maybe being one of those guys if there is a lot of fall off, right? We talked about short track drivers, or at least dirt track drivers. Short track, this is where it comes into Ryan Preece's standards, the concrete as well, like we mentioned before, the modifieds, and everything that he's been running in. I think this could help him. His last 2 finishes here impressed me a lot. It was a 3rd place, or no, yep, it was a 20th place finish, but he had a 7th, a 14th here. To me, I just feel like he's been running strong at this track, and he's due for another strong finish here.
All right, nice. You're going to be just so disappointed with me here, but I took Ryan Preece as well. I mean, I'm confident we'll be different at the end here, but I mean, Priest was my pick all day. I'm almost tempted to pivot here because there is an angle you could play here. Chris, who are you going to take?
Yeah, I think you're alluding to what I'm going to do here. I'm taking Brad K, actually. Because,
Okay.
I mean, let's just pretend that and that might have been not what you thought. I don't know. But
No, it is because, I got the race that you were at in my mind.
yes,
And the race that you
exactly.
were at,
Yes.
the tires are falling off, and Brad's just slowly, methodically moving his way up and finishes top 5.
I don't, like I said at the beginning, I don't really think the tires are going to matter. But if they do, Brad is a game changer here.
Yeah.
So, and he's got the better, historical stats here. So, Brad was the angle I was going with all along.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean it's a coin flip now. Man, I could take Busher to do the ultimate pivot here, but like he's just been trending in the wrong direction here. I mean, his finishes, he won, and then he finished 4th, 7th, 14th, 25th. Like he's just falling off here. And then I got this nightmare vision in my head of I think I took Brad in a head-to-head last year when we were watching the race live. And I mean, this dude is just dead the entire race, just dead. I mean, it's the slowest freaking car out there all night long. Can't pass anyone. Just looked like total dog crap. So I don't know, man. I think Tino and I are we going to be different here? Spire could be anyone. Spire could be 2 guys, I think. Best of rest, wild card. I got a pivot I might use there. I'm going to stick with Ryan Preece here. That's what I had written down all day. I don't want to change just to change. And then, I don't know. Tino, you want to lead it off here for Spire? And or you want me? I'm not going to change my Spire picks. You want me to go, and then maybe you can pivot?
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right. I'm going Carson Hocevar. Had it down.
Perfect.
All day. Yeah, I didn't think you would. I think I know who you're going to pick here. That's what I was mentioning that.
Okay.
And I think it's a good pick too. But give me Carson Hocevar. I think he could win a race by the end of the year. I really do. I think his season's not over. I think we're going to see him surprise at one of these tracks. Why not Bristol? He's qualified top 10 here 2 times in a row. He's fast. He's aggressive. He did do the pit crew swap with Bowman, but it's not like all those guys are just crappy. I mean, like Bowman has had some fast stops this year. They just don't like the ones that are like bonehead ones that, can cost you the race. So if that doesn't happen, and Hocevar shows up fast, he's easily been the fastest guy on this team all year consistently. So give me Hocevar here. I'm just hoping, praying, he can pay off for me and get me back in the win column on the draft here. Chris, and jump to you. Who do you got?
I'm going Hocevar as well. It's just hard for me to get the performance he had here in the spring out of my head. Finishing 4th, or not 4th. Is that where he finished? I think I had that right. Carson was
11.
Finished 4th, but I know he ran well.
11th.
He was like a top 10 car. Yeah.
4th. I think it's 4th in drive rating. That's the stat I was trying to pull.
Mm.
He was 4th in drive rating, but he finished 11th. But yeah, I think there's probably a safer play here. But I think if we're going for a home run play, Carson could be the guy that is a difference maker. And then, yeah, I was going to bring up what Brian just brought up as well, as that he is losing his pit crew, which does kind of suck. He's getting Bowman's pit crew, which has really, really been his detriment the last 2 weeks. But at the same time, this is a track where Carson can do Carson things, and he can bully some people, and he can push people out of the way, and he can make his way up to the front. So I don't think that McDowell and Haley are the driver to do that this track. So Hocevar has definitely the highest ceiling, probably the lowest floor, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, he's had some good cup runs here. I mean, his first cup run here ever was with Legacy. Started 16th, finished 11th. And that was a September race. And then, started 7th last year in the September race, finished 18th. I'd have to look deeper into what happened, and then started 9th, finished 11th in the spring. But he, like you said, 4th best driver rating. He finished stage 1 in 5th and stage 2 4th. So, like, he's up there. So if you're just running 4th, 5th, and you get a late caution or something, and you can maybe throw 2 tires on and make it stick or anything here at the end, maybe he does. Who knows? So I don't know, man. I think it'd be cool just with everything that has happened this year if Hocevar got into victory lane. Tino, who's your pick here?
Gonna go with Michael McDowell. So I'm glad we're different from that standpoint. If you want to
now, that's different than I thought. I thought you were going Haley.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
no. Haley to me was intriguing from the standpoint of how he raced here in the spring, but I feel like he got the advantage of going before everyone else did when it came to.
Yeah, he wasn't waiting. If you
Yeah,
remember,
he just.
that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
People were scared that race.
Yeah, and he took advantage of that. So strong and
Yeah.
good for him for doing that, but also maintaining that track position. Like a strong finish there. But McDowell's finished 11th here 3 times. I like that out of a Spire guy. And Big Ross said it. Is the Dente going to make it 500 laps? That's just not something I'm willing to put my money on this weekend. I feel like if anyone's looking for revenge, you got to do it at the Bristol night race because that's where it's the least likely to be like obvious. You can bump a guy out of the way, and I think Hostbar's got at least 10 bumps coming to him. So McDowell to me, and here we go, perfect. Zach saying it as well. McDowell is consistent over the unpredictable Hostvar. I think Hostvar may have more speed, and in that first start, I was very impressed. Like you said, Ryan, like he was inside the top 10, running against the big dogs. Maybe he can do that again here. I just feel like, and Brian said it too, hey, a top 10 play for plus money at plus 250 for Hostvar is a good play, I would say. It's just not something I'm willing to do. I would go the other direction and bet a top 10 on Michael McDowell. He hasn't got one. He's gotten one in the last 5 with a 6th place finish in 2023 here. But aside from that, it's been 3 times finishing 11th, had a poor performance with 30th here in the spring, but I feel like he's got a strong shot.
All right, cool. It just surprised me a little bit. I thought someone would see just Haley's finishes here because he just seems to like sneak out some decent finishes here, but that's cool. We do have the host of our top 10 fair at 206. So if there's 250 out there, that's a good bet. McDowell though, we don't until we have him fair at 530. So I don't know if like sometimes FanDuel throws out some wild top 10 lines. If you
Oh
could look
my, I'm seeing Michael McDowell plus 900 on FanDuel right now for a top 10.
So, there you go. We have a 530 fair for him.
To be fair, I got very excited at a plus 900 last week top 10 for Eric Jones. That didn't hit, so maybe I should be cautious of the same price. But I mean,
where do they have
jumping on that?
Where do they have Hostvar right now?
Hostvar is plus 195 on FanDuel. That's the best price I'm seeing.
All right, so everyone go talk to Brian in the chat. I'll tell you where to go get 250. All right, Tino, we're sticking with you because I did remember. So you're going to go best of the rest, and then we will loop down to me. I'll just start the wild card, and we'll go back to you, and you get the leverage. So go ahead with your best of the rest pick for Bristol.
Well, I'm glad I can be the first one to say that Josh Berry wins this race, walks it off, and advances to the next round. And he is my best of the rest. It's a little tricky of a pick. 12th place finish, 29th in the spring. Or no, that was 29th in the fall of last year. And then a 12th again. So a 17.7 finish in all of the races he's had at Bristol in the next gen era. It's not really intriguing to me. But I got to sort of just kind of stick with my guns here because I feel like it's going to happen in terms of the best of the rest that we got here. I feel like obviously he's not the only one in the playoffs. SVG, Ross Chastain are both in there, and they could be Chastain might have been a guy I would have went with, but I just feel like Berry, if he's going to have a shot, maybe Penske would throw everything at him. I think he's been strong on short tracks this year, maybe not as strong as I'd liked him to be. But if they have anything to throw out there, being the last guy, he can't point his way in. See, this is the other thing, too, is I feel like Cindric, Chastain, even Logano, if they have a bad run, if they have a hiccup, that could fluctuate. You can see those guys that are 10th, 11th, 12th be below the cut line. Same thing with the guys below 13th, 14th, I think have a chance there. But for Bowman and Berry, I think they both need to win to advance in this next round. And I'm going to go with a guy that's willing to risk it all here at Bristol.
Yeah, they got to throw the Hail Mary here. But the Hail Mary can earn you some serious points. Even if he doesn't get into the next round, it could help you win the draft. So that's a cool pick. Chris, what do you got here for best of the rest?
Yeah, so I teased it on Twitter. I wore the Wood Brothers shirt. I thought I was going to go Josh Berry here. But I think because of my last 2 picks with Brad and Hocevar, I think I've kind of got that high ceiling, low floor right now. So I kind of want to be a little safer here with the best of the rest pick. I'm going to go Ross, mainly because I do think he's a guy. He's, I think, 21 above the cut line or 12. I might have that backwards. Or 19.
He's 20.
19 above the,
yeah.
So 19 above the cut line. But also he's a guy that, like, you know, he'd be willing, if tires aren't, if they don't matter, right? He's somebody I could see taking 2 tires just to get that track position and holding everybody up just so he get those stage points or get that track position. Whereas like you said, Barry, yeah, they need to throw a Hail Mary and go for the win, but that could also blow up in their face. Whereas Ross just needs the points, and that's what we're playing for, is the points.
Yeah, I had Ross written down all day here. I just think, again, like, nothing is technically safe. You know, if you wreck out early and then you have some bad luck and people pass you and you get knocked out of the playoffs. But I think for the most part, he can run his own race here. And what I like is he's actually pretty good here. He's not like someone we'd pick to win the race, but he's someone you could pick to finish top 10. He does have top 10s in 3 of his 5 Gen 7 races here, including 2 in a row. And it doesn't matter how he qualifies. Whether he qualifies in the back, he can come up through the field. He has multiple times. Or he can qualify, you know, in teens and finish around 10th, which he's done as well. So to me, it doesn't matter how he qualifies. It's nice for him. He gets to go out late, you know, with all the playoff guys, maybe put down a better lap than he normally would. But even if he doesn't, like I said, strategy-wise, like Chris mentioned, I like this team. And then he just seems like he's kind of figured this out a little bit, Bristol. So give me Chastain. Now we get to a wild card. And I got to lead this off. Kind of sucks because I do have 2 guys written down here. So I'm hoping that one of you take the other guy. But I'm already a little invested in the other guy elsewhere. So I'm going to go with Chase Briscoe here for the wild card pick. I mean, I don't think this really shocks anyone. I mean, this dude is just on fire right now. But he ended his Xfinity run back in the day with a win and finished 4th, 2nd, 1st to end his career in Bristol at Xfinity. Just getting better and better and stronger and stronger. It's a great track for him. He goes to JGR, first race with JGR, finishes 4th here in the spring. He had a top 10 finish here before that with Stuart Haas Racing. Way less equipment. So he's great at Bristol. This is one of his strongest tracks, in my opinion. Should be. Especially now that you go to JGR. And JGR, definitely strong here. We have Toyota, like, I don't know, minus 110 is fair to win this race because of how strong JGR is. We mentioned it earlier. So, and Briscoe is a large part of that. Yeah, I don't know. Give me Briscoe here, but I'm really hoping one of you guys pick this other guy so we can talk about him. We won't end the show without talking about him tonight. So let's see what you do. Chris, you're up, wild card.
Well, I don't think it's going to be your guy because I'm going to kind of neutralize you guys a little bit with Christopher Bell here.
Smart.
But yeah, I first I need to say with the comment on the screen here, I really wanted to go Gibbs. I'm not going to lie to you. I wanted to go Gibbs. I had it on my mind all day. But, and Ryan probably knows this because the amount of times I put in Discord, like, man, Ty Gibbs is really intriguing this week. And then he just burns me. I'm over it. I can't do it anymore. I'm out. I can't. Ty Gibbs he's too much. He's been the practice hero so many times where you think like, man, this guy's going to be the fastest car all day, and then it doesn't show up. So, Zach, I hope Joe Gibbs. I hope Ty Gibbs has a good race, but I need Christopher Bell to be the guy for me this week.
Awesome. That's a good leverage pick going second here for the wild card. You know Bell will be strong. Tino, I know that you're going to bring this energy. So I'm just hoping you bring the name that I'm thinking of. So let's see what you got.
Well, you know, it's funny because being in this closer spot here for the wild card, it gives me the opportunity to move things around, to change things up, to tell the people what they want to hear. And I'm not going to lie. I originally was going to go with this guy I'm about to say. And then I was like, no, Ryan's going to pick him. So I'm going Chase Briscoe. And then Ryan picked Chase Briscoe. And I know Ryan wants to talk about Alex Bowman!
Yeah, baby.
Bowman to win and advance to the next round. I mean, this is his only shot. 15th in the point standing. You race for Hendrick Motorsports. You're minus 35 below in the cut line. And this is his chance to win. He's been strong here in the past. I remember last year's fall Bristol race. He was running inside the top 5. Ended up falling back, finishing bottom half top 10. But to me, a 4th place in the spring race that had the fall off. If we have fall off, we could have Alex Bowman. I think there's a chance. Hendrick Motorsports needs this is it. Like we said the same thing for Josh Berry. You need to throw everything out there in order to win this race. I feel like this is his chance, and I might be betting on him to win it all. I might be betting on him to win it all. Brian said it too. 28-1. Oh, it's so juicy. I'll say this from the Alex Bowman standpoint, he's let me down every time. But this could be the time where he proves us all wrong. He shows up like the showman he is, and he gets the win. I could see it happening here, and I'm glad to give the people what they want.
Oh yeah. Took Bowman over Logano, took Bowman top 10, took Bowman top 5. I thought about laddering up to the win. I didn't do it. I just don't know. I might regret that big time. We'll see. It still might happen before we get to practice and qualifying, because guess who's won the pole back-to-back times here? Alex Bowman. So that number will be dead if he does it again. And he's going out at the end. He's in the playoffs. So he's going out in that last group. Man, that was the guy. You came through. This is like the first time I won't be mad if I lose because of the wild card pick. I would have nothing but respect for it. So great pick.
I hope he comes through. I hope he does. And like this is his chance. I feel very strong. Like when I think about guys that could be strong here, that may be underdogs, if you will. He's a guy. Obviously, you mentioned Ty Gibbs as well, but I feel like Bowman and Berry too. Like these are drivers that need to win this race, and I feel like they have to attack it differently than the other drivers in their camp. I don't know if that's strategy. I don't know if it's given and we mentioned it too earlier on, the different pit crew. I can see that being a storyline. Like who you got to find when it comes to this Bristol night race. If it's not Denny, if it's not Larson, I think it can be a storyline type of play, a walk-off moment. It's been a little bit since we've seen that. Obviously, it's the first round of the playoffs, so we'll see if it can happen here. But I'm very excited to see what the 48 can do this weekend.
So, spoiler alert for those who watch the preview with Eric Estep tomorrow. But I talk about Alex Bowman. So I dug up a few things, and I'll rattle them off here. You mentioned the pit swap. So I just dug in a little bit. Hocevar and his 77 team have beat the 48 team and Alex Bowman in 6 of the last 8 races and 4 tire stops. So it has been faster. 4 of those performances were top 10 performances in the field. So 77 team has been buzzing. One fun thing I found, just buzzing around stats and all that stuff. So do you know the track that Bowman has the most top 5s at in his career? Do you know what it is? He also has a win there.
I bet it's Richmond.
Dover.
Oh, okay.
So I just thought that was interesting. We mentioned it earlier. It's another steep banked concrete track. So again, I would never say Bristol's Dover, Dover's Bristol, but just saying, I thought it was interesting. That's the most top 5s in his career, and he's got a win there. Then you come to another steep banked concrete track where he's won the pole 2 times in a row. Was a top 3 car there in the spring before it exploded on him. So I don't know. Dude needs to win to advance. Let's go. That'd be fun. So thank you again, Tino, for letting me rattle that stuff off. All right. I appreciate everyone. Any comments coming in, anything like that, I want to shout them out. Tino, let's do that. I appreciate everyone in the comments here. You guys have made it awesome as usual. So give you a quick shout out and thank you guys so much for being in here. Really appreciate it. If you got any last minute questions, go ahead and fire them off now.
Yeah, for sure. We got some time. So if you guys got any questions for us, let us know, as Ryan said. I'll also bring up the point that Brian mentioned. And he'd argue that Bowman is the best driver at Dover in the Gen 7 era. That leads into our stats here. Another thing I'll note as we wait for some potential comments to come through in this last moment are that Bowman finished 37th here in the spring race, but that had to have been due to an issue because he finished fourth.
He blew up.
Yeah. And he finished 4th in stage 1. So whether or not it was a good qualifying effort, people were scared on tires, he was still able to maintain that track position there. 2nd in stage 2. So the blow up had to have come after a strong stage 1 and stage 2.
He was easily a top 3 car.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. And I think people may lose that, as I did, because I forgot the car blew up looking at the finishes there. But my point is, when you look at Bowman, that means you go from a 4th place to a 9th last year at this specific race, but he could have had a better finish than 9th, I would say. And then a top 3 car this is his chance. It's not just the fact that we're using the storyline and the playoff bubble to our advantage when we're talking about this. I feel like he's actually had the results and the speed, whereas the 48 doesn't normally have that type of speed when we look at them throughout each week. So appreciate Brian for bringing that up. Appreciate Zach at Team 54 in the chat. Robert as well was in here. Sean McBride, although he left before the Penske portion because he didn't want to hear us talk about Joey Logano like that. Big Ross as well as always. And everyone in the chat just continues to make this show what it is, the specialness of it. We got Chaw Kira in here. Roll Nears. Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
that
No,
dude's
fucking
winning
Chris.
the I think he's winning the atop the pit
He
box
is.
contest.
He
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So dude's crushing it right now.
Awesome. And last thing we're gonna go with in terms of shout out to Keith. Comment, good show. Appreciate you, Keith. Robert as well saying love Bowman if there is a late restart. Me as well. He's got a good chance to make some positions there or do some desperate measures, be aggressive. That's the thing too, is like we've seen long green flag runs to end this night race. We may be able to see that here. So Zach, our boy Team 54 has asked first 4 out prediction. Love this question. I will go first. And this is tough because I picked Josh Berry and Alex Bowman, so I want either of them to win. So I kind of put myself in a bad spot. If Alex Bowman does win, so let's say he does, I'm going to go Josh Berry out, SVG out, Austin Dillon out, and Austin Cindric out. Those are my 4 out. Austin Cindric, Austin
just
Dillon,
above?
SVG, and Berry.
Oh, I gotta pull it up.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think
What are you thinking?
Austin Dillon is sneaky here.
I'll
say,
Ryan's
all
looking
right,
that up.
Yeah.
Want me to go bold? I'll go bold here.
Okay, here we go.
Barry's out, SVG's out, Cindric is out, Logano's out.
Whoa, that is bold. So you're thinking he might, man, Mick Bryan is not going to be happy with you.
Ryan,
You think Logano has
my
that
brother,
problem or
I'm sorry.
Sean's-
Man, McBride's been
Sean's-
such a good listener to, good interactive person in the chat. Dang.
He's
All right,
hoping-
Good.
yeah, Sean's probably hoping that if Ryan's comes true, that then Bowman gets popped for his car being too light and Logano gets back in again.
Oh yeah. Well, if that happens again, we got to be on these championship odds because that's when we got Logano at stupid odds last year when he got back in. They hadn't changed it yet.
I'm gonna be boring. I think I'm just gonna say the current 4 under are gonna be the ones out. I think,
Okay.
but it's gonna be close though. I think between you guys are convincing me on Bowman. I'm not gonna lie. Those numbers out there are pretty convincing. So if Bowman was to win, then I think obviously Cindric's the guy out. But I think Chastain and Logano hopefully are far enough up to not be bumped.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to, not be bold, I'd probably be with you, but I would just swap the Austins. I would say Dillon gets in over Cindric.
Okay.
And
I kind of like
Brian,
Dillon. If the tires do wear and it becomes a little slick, like you mentioned, like dirt racing, Tino, like then I really like Dillon in those conditions.
Yeah, that's what he says he thrives in too. So that's another point too I mentioned where it's like we're still pretty close. Where it's like Austin Dillon's only -11. Even so, SVG's -15. I don't expect him to do anything with that. But if we see let's say we see a wreck between Austin Cindric, Ross Chastain, and Logano. I mean, they're depending on when that may happen. I'm not rooting for it by any means. I'm just throwing hypotheticals out there. Then we see drivers below the cut line just get boosted up because it's not like they're that far back. Like it's only -10, -15. That's one stage win or a couple strong points. Whereas if they have a bad race, we could see them continue to go down. But one thing I wanted to mention with Brian in the chat, he said, this is a great week to play a team. Hendrick Motorsports, Joe Gibbs Racing, and protect with 1 or 2 individuals. That is the Phil strategy. So I'm glad he mentioned that. And he said, shout out to Phil for the strat because it's like Phil is with us here tonight, bringing that up. So, yeah, I agree with that. And also Brian mentioned it too, and I thought it was a good point. Very clean racing here recently. That's true. Hopefully the tire could make something happen here. And then we got another comment from Keith. Does anyone like Jones with the track changing during sunset? His car is getting better. I like Eric Jones a lot recently. He let me down a little bit last weekend, but in terms of, I don't know, any other potential upsets, what are you guys thinking about Eric Jones there? Oh, perfect.
I like Eric Jones,
Yeah,
but I just don't know if I like him here. Like as a
Yeah.
driver,
that's what I
he is
mean. Yeah,
he's like I think Worms brought up every Sunday on his show. Like I think Jones deserves to be like if if it was in better equipment, like he would show out. And Legacy has been hitting on all cylinders lately, but I just don't think Bristol's the track.
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
I hate just calling out everyone at Team 54. I love you, man. But if Jones was in that 54,
Oh
I don't know. I
no!
just
Don't
think
say
really
that.
be.
Don't.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I don't know. I just got to go to bed. Maybe I apologize. So Team 54 is such a nice guy. I am sorry, man.
I mean, I agree though for sure. But my point is, Eric Jones. To that point that we're all talking about, he has a 24.2 finish in the last 5 races here. So yeah, just not really cutting it. And also his teammate in John Hunter Nemechek has a better average finish, less races, but still he's been performing here better than Jones. Although what Brian said is true, we always heart Team 54.
Yeah, we do. All right, guys, we're gonna call it. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening, everyone, to our partners, Nuke the House. Always go check out Keg. They're live betting everything. NFL started now too, so these guys are on a freaking buttload. Thursday, Friday last week they were on. So all Sunday. I mean, these guys are nuts. They had a great opening weekend too. Made a lot of money. Grid Rival, you can use code Win the Race, get up to $100 back in your first deposit. And then you can catch me. My preview will come out tomorrow with Eric Estep for the Bristol race on Daily Downforce. And go follow Out of the Groove, Eric Estep's channel on YouTube. It's a lot of fun. What did Team 54 say right there? What was the last one?
he said,
Yeah, well,
yeah, Eric
that
Jones
is
could have
true.
done
I
more.
can't, he's right. He's
Great
right.
show though.
Yeah, dude. I love you, Zach. Thank you. He's always cool. I love talking to him on Twitter too. All right. And then, and definitely check out Kyle and Brian every week. Angle of Pursuit podcast, DFS show, betting show, 2 shows a week. Go subscribe to that on Spotify, podcasts, everywhere, their YouTube. Thank you guys so much. And thank you for being active in here. Appreciate it. Tino, where can everyone find your good work and dominant picks lately? Where can they hear that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I will be on 2B TV NASCAR channel, SiriusXM NASCAR radio channel 90. That's where I give out the first initial plays before the week starts, before the closing line value. You can find me there on TV or on the radio. On Friday morning around 7:45 a.m. There are reruns of that, but that's the first version you can see. So you got to wake up a little early, but it's worth it because you see Tubi Tino. And then I will also be on Nuke the House again this weekend. I've been on there a bunch with those guys. I'm going to be on it with Davey Siegel this time around Saturday before the night race. So I'm super excited for that. Tune in and you'll be able to see me there talking more. And that will be good because it'll be a post-practice qualifying edition of my picks there. And we've been doing great. And one last guy that came into the chat, Miami Mike. I know, Ryan, you were talking to him before about the 49ers, the Dolphins, Josh McDaniel. He said, great work. Appreciate that. He said, go Fins. We got my Packers shirt on here. So that's G3 here. We got a little Thursday night football action. If you guys don't know, I'm a minority owner of the Pack, and we're back. So let's go. I'm very excited for this season. More dubs to come.
Beautiful. And with your gold jacket, you have to get the golden jersey. You got to get one.
I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually solid.
Stay golden.
Yeah. All right, Chris, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so we are over at flag_hunting on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And then we also track all of our picks on the Action Network at Flag Hunting. I think we're on Action Network. We do NASCAR and golf, so I always put out like a qualifying card and an outright card for the race. Typically on Sundays, obviously Saturday this week, and then Ian does our golf stuff. He only had a 2-week off season because golf, man, they're already back up and running. So he posted his card actually about an hour or two ago for this week's tournament. So if you want to get into if you like hitting outrights, so like if clearly you're here and you love betting NASCAR, golf is actually pretty fun to bet outrights and like top 10 and stuff like that too. Ian typically puts out some banger cards. He just put his out this a little bit ago. So come check us out. And yeah, I'm just going to comment too on some guys in the chat. Brian, I actually got to meet Brian this year at Homestead. I went to Homestead Cool guy.
Awesome.
So love to see him in the chat. He's kind of like our secret weapon in Discord too. And
Yeah.
obviously would love to see a lot of you guys come join us on Discord, because the Win the Race Discord it's truly one of the best tools out there. I love that Ryan has such a great community where you can just talk NASCAR with some of your friends. Like, I don't have a lot of friends in my real life that I can talk NASCAR with, so to be able to do it with a bunch of guys with like-minded heads is a lot of fun. So yeah, appreciate you guys having me on here, and I always enjoy it. It's a blast.
That's what it's all about. I'm with you. I talk NASCAR, they just change the subject immediately. It's like, so hop right back in Discord. So you can find that wintherace.info. Come check it out. All the cool stuff you saw tonight. And the true performance scores that I did. I've been working on these for years, and now I'm, back testing them and all that. I'm very confident in these, and they tend to be really sticky. So, hopefully they help you out when I post these things on the show. Screenshot it, do whatever you want, use it over the weekend, have fun. But yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Good luck this weekend, and we will catch you next Wednesday night, same time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you and good luck.